Good evening everyone and welcome to round 5 of the THR Touring Car League for Class live from Snetterton. My name is Phelan and I'll be taking you through all the racing action for tonight, following on from the Class B action of last night. So first up on track we can see is the Register Ginetta Junior Championship, and with a quick run through the standings, Matahimovic leads on 108 points from Jack H on 105, D Biggs on 98, Aidan Hills 68, Keegs 64, Carmelicious 56, Starscream 101 on 55, Rockets S on 54, Iceman 53, KJ Argent on 45, Rebby on 39, Suddy Apex 36, AMH Racing on 36, Big Boy Brazier on 28 and Min Adam on 10. So let's see if we can get an onboard lap here to show everyone who's first in the list. Starscream, so we're going to go on an onboard lap with Starscream of the Snetterton 300 layout. So coming up to the start finish straight now, as we can see, someone has actually got ahead of Starscream. So a lap of the Snetterton 300 layout. Getting into 4th gear now before Richie's, dabbing the brakes down to 4th. Braking at the marker board down to 2nd, sometimes at the 1st as Starscream does for Montreal Hairpin. Up to 3rd, managing to throttle through Palmer. Sometimes you'll see the drivers dabbing the brake at the apex just to keep the car straight. Into Agostini then, down to 2nd, feeding the throttle back in to make sure that the back end doesn't kick out on exit. Starscream dabs the brake into Hamilton. Sometimes you could take it with a slight lift depending on how stable the car is and how confident you are on the tyres. Don't forget, for qualifying all the drivers are on cold tyres, so it's all about finding your way on the first lap or two until you get some heat into the tyres. 10-minute qualifying session here at the 300 layout, as we've seen last night in the first 1 or 2 races. For the B class, 5 minutes was just too short. Drivers were only getting 1 lap, so 10 minutes for all qualifying sessions today. So as we go through Brundle and Nelson now, grabbing 3rd before the bomb hole. Car can get very loose there, as you can see from Starscream, especially in the faster classes later on this evening. Around Coram, again just managing the brake, nice light pressure, and into Murray's final corner. So Suddy Apex has set the first lap at 2:22.1. D Biggs and Jack have also, and Starscream goes 4th now with a 2:06.6. Currently D Biggs is leading. D Biggs with a 2:03.8. 1.3 clear of Jack in 2nd. And Iceman has gone on pole with a 2:02. 1.5 ahead. Now, as we can see, we can expect the rest of the drivers to improve on this as the tyres pick up a bit of heat. who hasn't set a time. So we also got Gary 131 goes third at 1.9 seconds behind. A lot of people might recognise Gary from the Class B last night, driver of the night with 4 out of 5 wins, and he's stepped up as a filler in this Class A event, and we wish him all the best of luck for tonight's action. Big boy Brazier in the pits, just leaving now, but hasn't set a time yet. Also Rockets has stopped at pit exit. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with Big boy. He tries to go around him, a little nudge there, so hopefully Rocket gets going. And KJ Argent still yet to set a time. Track limits, like all tracks, is very strict here, particularly in the last sector. If you touch the grass, you can find yourself with an invalid lap, and also your next lap will be invalidated, so it's very important to make sure to get a lap on the board without pushing too hard. A lot of track limits can be found, especially where KJ Argent now, as he's gone wide there, that'll give him a slowdown, probably an invalidated lap, and if he's lucky he might just get away with not having his next lap invalidated as well. So it's Iceman that leads by 1.5 seconds now, with just over 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Can he improve on his time? He can't, so he still remains on pole. D Biggs in second, 1.5 behind from Gary 131 in third. Can he improve on his time? We've seen how quick he was last night in the Class B. I wonder, can he bring that form into the Class A tonight? No improvement from Gary there either. Jack in fourth, 2.9 seconds behind Iceman. So Iceman really setting the pace here that everyone's going to have to push extremely hard to match. Iceman has really laid down a benchmarker here. He sits 9th in the championship at the moment, currently 55 points off the lead, so he's really having to push to get those extra points where he can for pole positions and fastest laps. He scored 0 points in both of the first 2 rounds, so perhaps he didn't finish or he wasn't taking part, so he's playing catch up now to our championship leader Matahimovic, who you can see on screen now. Coming through Coram now into Murray's. Currently sitting 5th with a 2:05.7, 3.4 seconds off the lead. Can he improve on his time? He does indeed. A 2:04.5 brings him up into 4th. Jack dropping down to 5th. Dan Beach in the comments saying Iceman's doing bits. He certainly is, Dan. It'll be interesting now when the tyres get up to temperature for the race. Can any of the other competitors keep with him? So currently, with just under a minute left to go, Iceman on pole, D Biggs in second, Gary on in third. Can he improve on his time? He can't. Matahimovic in 4th, Jack back in 5th, Rebby in 6th. As who's that's gone smashing the board? I think it's KJ Argent. Yeah, it is smashing the marker board. Starscream in 7th from Keegs in 8th, Sooty Apex in 9th, KJ Argent 10th, Min Adam, a bit of a lag there on the screen, in 11th, and Big Boy Brazier in 12th. Just seen there, oh, Min Adam is disconnected from the session, and also Rocket disconnected there too. We've seen him parked at the pit exit. Hopefully they can get back in for this race. So with qualifying complete, Iceman is on pole. He's in the pits 1.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field from D Biggs and Matahimovic. Can either of them improve? Matahimovic obviously not confident in beating his time, so he's dropped to the pit lane. Here comes Jack. Can he improve? He does, with a 2:04.2, brings him ahead of Matahimovic up to 4th place. Here comes D Biggs. Improves to a 2:03.0, 0.7 of a second off Iceman. Not good enough for pole, but a front row start. D Biggs will be happy with that. Can Gary get himself onto the front row? Full of confidence after an incredible performance last night. It should be interesting to see him in the top half of this Class A encounter tonight. Oh, and he spun it. That's unfortunate. He must have been on a good lap if he was continuing on. And that's the end of the qualifying session for the Registered Ginetta Junior Championship. Iceman takes the pole 7/10 ahead of D Biggs. Gary in 3rd with Jack H. 3rd row of the grid, championship leader Matahimovic and Starscream from Rebby and Keegs, with Suddy Apex and KJ Argent in 9th and 10th. As we've seen, Min Adam and Rocket disconnected from the session, so they were unable to complete a decent lap time, so they'll be starting from the back if they can get back into the session in time. And Big Boy Brazier was caught up in that as well. So here we go. It's lights out, and it looks like a good start from Iceman and D Biggs. Great start from D Biggs as Iceman covers, but D Biggs is up the inside now as they come into turn 1. Iceman's held it around the outside. That's great from the... Oh, and someone's off in the background. Starscream, Rebby, KJ Argent and Matahimovic, the championship leader, has spun as well. As we rejoin back at the front, Iceman still leads from D Biggs in 2nd, Jack up to 3rd and Gary in 4th. So drama at the start of the Registered Ginetta Junior Championship here, with championship leader Matahimovic right at the back of the grid. Let's see if he can make up places. So Iceman leads to Agostini from D Biggs in 2nd, Jack in 3rd, Gary 4th. A gap back to Big Boy Brazier, who's made a great start there on this race. Keegs in 6th, Suddy Apex 7th, Starscream 8th, Rebby in 9th, Matahimovic in 10th with KJ Argent in 11th. So as they head down the Bentley Straight, Iceman with a half a second lead at the moment. The Bentley Straight will be a very key place for overtaking, perhaps with the slipstream effect as we've seen last night in the Class B. So Iceman will definitely be looking to break that slipstream of Biggs, which he seems to be doing now, pulling up to an 8/10 lead now coming on to the 2nd lap. As Jack is getting closer to Biggs now for 2nd. He will hope for a good exit here out of Murray's. Doesn't seem to get it now, and Gary could be right on the back of him now. He is indeed. Pulls to the outside, and he's going to go try go around the outside of Jack now into Richie's. He's actually got in front of him completely and shuts the door on Jack. So Gary taking advantage of Jack's mistakes there. Big Boy Brazier in 5th with Keegs in 6th. Championship leader Matahimovic up to 9th now, so he's making up a few places. With Rebby looking dangerous there behind him as well. They'll hope to follow each other and work with each other now, using the slipstream to get back up to Starscream, who's 5 seconds up the road. And it looks like Jack's having to go back down the inside of Gary, and he's made it work into Agostini. So Jack back up to third now after that mistake in Murray's that allowed Gary through on the start finish straight. And Iceman has just cruised into the lead here, just slowly pulling away from Biggs. 1.6 now is the gap as they head through the bomb hole. Jack and Gary on pursuit behind, waiting for any mistakes they may make. Keegs back in 5th with Suddy Apex 6th. Starscream coming up to the bumper of Suddy now, with Matahimovic and Rebby behind. Rebby, as you can see from the red indicator there beside his position name, has received a penalty in this race, so it could be for track limits. He might have a 1 or 2, 3 second penalty there that he'll have to serve at the end. So if KJ Argent could catch up now, could close that gap to within 2 or 3 seconds, he could get promoted to 9th. A good run out of Richie's there for Starscream as he looks to close in on Suddy Apex after his spin on the first lap. As we'll ride on board with him. Bit of a lock up there from Suddy and forces Starscream to the grass on the inside, and has actually dropped back now all the ground he made up. Probably wasn't anticipating Suddy to go wide there and ended up running into the back from him a little bit, which stopped his momentum. Oh, Suddy with a bit of lag there, thought he was heading onto the grass, and he actually does go wide there. Might affect his run a little bit if Starscream can get close enough. But up the front, Biggs is close back in on Iceman now, down to half a second. He's really closed in here. A bad run out of the corner from Iceman, and Biggs is going to be all over him into Richie's. Iceman going defensive very early. Biggs looking to use that slipstream up the straight. Iceman back to the racing line as Biggs throws one up the inside. No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it there. He knows there's a championship at stake here with Matahimovic drop right down the order in 8th. Scoring points now and getting closer to Matahimovic will be definitely on his mind. Good evening to Tin Top Racing UK on the stream. Damn, sorry I'm late. It's only the action's only starting here. Don't worry, there's plenty more of it to come tonight, as you know. Thanks for joining in, guys. D-Biggs currently 10 points behind Matahimovic in the standings, so it's all close up top now if Matahimovic can't make any more places up. As Starscream is up the inside of Suddy into Hamilton, thinks better of it though. Oh, and Suddy cuts the corner. Oh, he's hit the curb there hard. That could be a slowdown penalty for him. It is indeed. You can see him on the brakes there. Lets Starscream by. And that's actually allowed Matahimovic to close right up as well when the camera focuses on him. So he'll be looking now to make up maybe 1 or 2 places. Still up front, Iceman and Biggs. Into Murray's for the 4th time. Just under 7 minutes remaining of this race. And as Biggs got a run again on him this time. Iceman going defensive very early, having to hold that inside line as Biggs pulls out of the slipstream. It's like a mirror image of the last lap. This time Biggs is alongside and he thinks better of it again and slots in behind. Iceman very quick through turn 1, whether he's on the inside or the outside of that turn. Seems to be consistently quick, and Biggs is struggling to keep up with him there. And this battling has allowed Jack to catch up now as well in 3rd, so he'll be looking to capitalise on any mistakes that the front 2 might make. As Biggs is all over the bumper, giving Iceman a little tap there, letting him know he's there, letting him know he's racy. And all of this is playing into the hands of Jack, who's just putting in quick laps, slowly closing in that gap. Under a second now between the top 3. Could we be in for a frantic finish as usual in the registered Ginetta Juniors? As my fellow commentator said last night, Matthew Duffin, first 5 minutes of the race are always hectic, and then people start to settle down. As Biggs is up the outside of Iceman, thinks better of it. Good defence there from Iceman though. He's defending well now, keeping Biggs behind him, and that's allowed Jack to close right back up to Biggs. I would say Jack and Biggs will both be looking for a good exit now, and they won't go for any lunges now into Murray's. A good exit from Jack by the looks of it. And he's up side by side with Biggs now as we come down the start finish straight to start lap 6. They're door rubbing now, giving each other room though. And will Jack be able to hold around the outside here? So far he's kept it on the outside, but Biggs with the racing line keeps in 2nd. Great racing from these Class A drivers. You can see they have a lot of respect for each other. There's no mad weaving across the track. They're giving each other room, and it's allowing them to maintain the gap to the guys behind while also keeping Iceman in their sights in front. So it's really good racing from them. As I was saying, first 5 minutes of the race tends to be hectic. Middle 5 minutes settles down, and everyone starts to find their feet, starts putting their head down, put in quality laps. And then the last 5 minutes tend to be hectic again as people start to try to look for moves to make up positions and gain more points in the championship. Meanwhile, behind, Matahimovic is up to 6th, taking Starscream and Rebby, and he's closing in on Keegs now, so a top 5 finish could be possible for Matahimovic. It's damage limitations, but he's still collecting some decent points as we reach the halfway point of this championship. And looks like Jack has had a mistake as Gary's gotten past Jack for 3rd place. Jack's dropped right back now, over 5 seconds behind Biggs, who he was battling for, so maybe there was contact there that we missed. So Gary promoted to 3rd now, and will he be able to keep Jack behind? I'm sure Jack would be furious now, whatever happened there, whether it was a mistake of his own or there was contact with Biggs, but he'll be looking to get that podium position back. And Matahimovic has dropped down to 8th place as well, losing 2 places there from 30 seconds previous. Maybe he went for a move on Keegs and is after losing, as that Starscream goes wide, is it? Oh no, Rebby going wide there, and that's going to allow Matahimovic to close up a little bit. And Sooty Apex going wide there as well. Brundle, a very tricky corner there. Getting it wrong, you could hit the sausage curb on the inside, or you can also go wide and give yourself a slowdown penalty too. Currently, in terms of penalties, Starscream and Rebby are the only two to receive penalties at the moment, so it shouldn't really affect the grid. Matahimovic though would be aware of this, as it will be displayed on the driver display, so he should maybe be able to get up to 7th anyway, if he can close in on Rebby with those penalties. Up the front, Biggs still 0.8 of a second behind Iceman, and Jack is close back into Gary now as well as they head into Hamilton. So he'll be looking for a last lap lunge maybe on Gary to get that 3rd place back after his incident earlier. We might find out in the comments afterwards from the drivers what happened there, as we missed it on the stream. So onto the Bentley straight to go to see if Jack is close enough for the slipstream on Gary. You can see how Jack starts to close in on Gary right up the end of the Bentley straight. Just wasn't close enough that time. Tin Top Racing UK in the chat, really going to squeeze the league up. Definitely is now, with Matahimovic back in 8th. I don't have the points on me at the moment, but it certainly will close up and make it very interesting going into the last few rounds. Just a quick look in the chat there as Gary goes wide. Actually, it's going to allow Jack a great chance. Jack with the lights on, letting Gary know he's there and he wants that position. He's got a great run there up into Richie's. Will he look for a move into the Montreal hairpin? Again, Gary quick, but he's actually run wide. Oh, and Gary's hit the curb and he's spun straight into the tyre barrier. That is unlucky there from Gary. Just a slight bit wide, caught the curb on the exit of Richie's, and that's turned him around and promoted Jack up to 3rd place. Meanwhile, up the front, the gap is down to 3/10 now. Biggs is right on the back of Iceman, excuse me, again. I think this could be the last lap. As you see up the top of the stream, the time remaining has disappeared, which could indicate that we're gone to 0-0. As we come through the Bentley straight, we come onto the Bentley straight now. Biggs is all over the back of Iceman. He should have a slipstream effect here. He ducks, he's weaving to keep in that slipstream of Iceman. He's closing in, but will he? He's gone. He's going for a move. He's looking. Oh, he's backed out. He's just, yeah, it was a sensible decision from Biggs there. He could have ended up with the two of them in the grass. Iceman defensive though as they come into the bomb hole. Biggs should get a better run now as they come up to Coram now. He's looking. He's all over his bumper. Into Murray's now, which could be for the last time. Iceman needs a good run out of this corner to keep Biggs behind him. A flash of lights, and that's the checkered flag. Iceman taking the victory from D Biggs in 2nd. According to the timing here, it says D Biggs has actually won the race, which would be incorrect. Iceman, we weren't aware that he had a penalty, so that result will have to be reversed. Jack has come home in 3rd after an incident earlier on, getting up past Gary for 4th. Keegs, a quiet race for him, flashing the lights. Comes home in 5th with Starscream with a penalty. In 6th, Matahimovic is up to 7th past Rebby. This should close up the championship now a lot, with D Biggs is 2nd, Rebby in 8th with a penalty. Suddy Apex comes home in 9th, and KJ Argent will round out the top 10 once he gets around. Must be something with the name Gary in the last lap. Happened last night as well from Tin Top Racing. Definitely Tin Top. Gary unlucky there now. He was obviously mindful of Jack tried to get as much speed out of Richie as he could and just hit the curb. Matahimovic not too happy in the chat. Not the best start, he says. He'll be out for revenge, looking to make up for a disappointing race for him now as we go on to the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup race next. To round out the results of the Registered Ginetta Junior Championship, Iceman takes the victory. Ignore the timing screens from D-Biggs in second. Jack comes home in third, with Gary in fourth. Keegs fifth, Starscream sixth, Matahimovic seventh, Rebby eighth, Suddy Apex ninth, and KJ Argent 10th. And Big Boy Brazier in 11th, who retired after one lap. Also Min Adam and Rocket disconnected in qualifying, and they didn't get to the race, unfortunately. Hit in turn 1, then caught Keegs up mid corner, clipped him and went around, says Matahimovic in the chat. Unfortunate for him on that occasion. Just a quick look back through the chat. Who have we got on? Some of the races from last night. TMLS, welcome. Also we've got Tyler House, who is one of the heavyweights in the Class B at the moment, leading a lot of the championships. Matthew Gardner, hello to you. Adam Coop, aka Mazda from last night, welcome to the chat and well done on your first win on your debut last night, Adam. Great drive. Dan Beach, as we mentioned earlier. Craig Leach, who I believe is Little Leach in the Class B, welcome. Stephen Nicholson. Tin Top Racing UK, who are sponsors for the next race, the Renault Clio Cup. And Matahimovic, as we mentioned. So an exciting first race as always in the THR Racing League. Drama at the start for our championship leader Matahimovic. Saw him go into a spin with Starscream. Iceman took the lead from D-Biggs in second, and D-Biggs with a few chances to get past just couldn't make it work, and Iceman crossed the line in first to continue his climb back up the championship table. Tin Top Racing UK in the chat. As mentioned last night, we're donating a trophy and one of our caps to the Clio League winners in both Group A and B. Adds a bit of spice. It definitely does. Tin Top Racing UK, and thank you very much for that as the title sponsor. And currently leading the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup for Class A is the winner of our previous race, Iceman, with 74 points. Matahimovic on 69 in second, from Jack on 63 in third. Aidan Hills on 52. I don't know if Aidan's actually here tonight. Thinking he isn't competing in the Ginetta class, so he might join in for this race. We will know in a few minutes time. Keegs in 5th place on 49 points, with Suddy Apex in 6th on 48. Carmelicious, who also isn't here tonight I don't think, is in 7th, with Biggs in 8th. Big Boy Brazier in 9th, with KJ Argent in 10th. Then we've got AMH Racing, who also isn't here tonight I don't think, so a few of the Class A drivers missing tonight, with Mid Adam, Starscream, Buy My Cars and Rebby rounding out the top 15 in the championship. Just been informed by Matahimovic that Aidan races in the last 2 races, so we'll see him later on for the British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB and the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship as well. Thank you for that, Matahimovic. And AMH races in the last 2 races also only. Thank you for that. Matahimovic, and we wish you best of luck in the next race. As we move on to the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. One of the most exciting cars to drive on the package that you'll see tonight. Qualifying, as usual, can be very tricky with cold tyres. These cars like to slide out a lot. Also, out of interest, if everyone wants to comment in the chat, who's your predictions for pole position for this race and your top 3 for the race also. We can see what the opinions of the viewers is. We see Rockets has joined for this session anyway. Hopefully he doesn't disconnect now on the pit exit again. And also Gary there, unfortunate with a spin in the last race, will be looking for another podium in these Clios. Won the Clio Cup race last night as someone takes a very shortcut there. I think it was Rebby, yes it was. Yes, Gary won the Class B Clio Cup race last night after a thrilling final lap, with Tyler House and Ben Phelan, myself, closing in third place. So he'll be looking for another podium tonight. As Rebby goes around there, as you can see on cold tyres, very loose these cars can be, and safely rejoins the track. So we'll go on board, I think, for a lap of the Snetterton 300 layout, as we see Gary spinning there as well, with our championship leader Matahimovic getting all sideways too, just getting some heat into them tyres. You can see the drivers weaving around the Bentley Straight, trying to get as much heat as they can into these tyres. Mark Phelan in the chat, can't beat the good old Irish accent. I hope it's not too hard to understand for all our UK viewers. Tin Top Racing UK, I jinx everyone I mentioned last night, not again. The old commentator's curse, Tin Top Racing. Michael Matthews, who I believe is Peaceful Explosion from the Class B, you didn't jinx me, you don't need to, lol. So now, as we come through Murray's onto the start finish straight, we're going to ride on board with Matahimovic for a lap of the Snetterton 300 layout in the Tin Top Racing UK Clio Cup Championship. Grabbing fifth as he hit the start finish line. Tyres will still be cold, so be wary of this coming into Ritchie's. Up to 6th, braking, dropping to 5th, allowing the car just to snake a little bit to kick it into the corner. Back up to 5th then as we come into the Montreal, braking at the marker board. Down to 2nd, even 1st as Matahimovic does, to get a good run out of the Montreal hairpin. Up to Palmer now in 4th, easing on the throttle, getting the car sideways. Steering inputs are very important in these cars. If you chuck it in, the car is going to go into a huge slide and you're going to scrub a lot of speed, so it's very important to keep it nice and smooth. Into Agostini now, back down to 2nd gear, hugging that apex for a good exit. Back up to 4th now, as a slight dab of the brakes on the cold tyres, keeps it in 4th gear as we head up to Oggy's. Drops down to 2nd, keeping it nice and tight again on that apex, watching out for that sausage curb that can send you up onto 2 wheels as well. As we go through Williams now onto the Bentley Straight, as you can see the car very sideways with the cold tyre, so great car control from Matahimovic to keep it on the road. Grabs 6 just before the bridge now into Brundle and into Nelson. Back to 2nd, just clipping that curb again, that sausage curb, we want to stay away from it. Grabbing 4th just before the bomb hole to keep that car straight. Again, grabbing up to 5th on Coram. You can see the car twitching there as he drops it back to 4th. just to keep it. Now on the brakes, the car slides into Murray's, drops at the first to get a good run out onto the start-finish straight. Currently Iceman with a 2:04.8 in the lead. D Biggs in second on 2:08, 4 seconds behind. What can Matahimovic, the championship leader, do? Go second, 2/10 behind on a 2:05.0 from Iceman. Starscream coming up to the line now for his first flying lap. A 2:11.8 puts him in 9th place. You see KJ Argent getting sideways there through Palmer. Here comes Rockets now for a completed qualifying lap. Puts him in 6th on the 2:08.1, just over 3 seconds behind our leader Iceman. So currently, with just under 5 minutes left to go, Iceman in the lead with a 2:04.8, 2/10 clear of championship leader Matahimovic, as we've seen on board with him. Gary 131 back in third on a 2:05.2, just 4/10 off Iceman. A great showing from the Class B driver, and he'll be looking for a win in this race again. Jack then back in fourth on a 2:05.2, just 0.06 of a second behind Gary, with Sully Apex in 5th, Keegs in 6th, Rocket in 7th now, Min Adam in 8th, D Biggs in 9th. He'll be looking for a quick lap this time around. Oh, is he? Who's that? He hits the curb. I think that was Starscream, was it? Don't know who that was actually. So D Biggs will be looking for a better lap this time round. Let's see if he can improve. As Iceman extends his lead to 3/10 at the top of the grid. Here comes D Biggs up to 5th with a 2:06.2. Here comes Rebby now, currently 11th. Any improvement for him to push him into the top 10? Personal best, but not enough to push into the top 10. Currently held by Min Adam, who's just gone across. No improvement from him. Starscream, no improvement either. Here comes Gary. No improvement there either. These Clios now are starting to be getting heat into their tyres, so we should see the lap times come down now with 1, potentially 2 flying laps remaining for the drivers. And it's this man, Iceman, who leads again in qualifying, 3/10 ahead of Matahimovic. He's on a mission tonight. He's trying to... Could he potentially beat Gary's record of 4 wins on the night from last night? And go and do the Grand Slam of all 5 victories? We'll have to wait and see. He means business anyway. 3/10 in a Clio is an extreme gap. I reckon a 2:04.3 will take it, according to Tim Top Racing. Well, let's see if you've jinxed Iceman or you've given him a bit of luck this time. Can he improve on his previous lap? He does indeed, a 2:04.3, as guessed by Tin Top Racing UK. D Biggs up to second now, 3/10 behind on a 2:04.6, with Jack in third, 3/10 behind as well. Matahimovic, any improvement? No improvement that time around. So the Apex currently sitting 7th. Drops down to 8 now as Keegs improves. Up to 7th. Mark Phelan in the chat, what got pole last night in the Clios? I'm not too sure, Mark. Can't remember either. Tin Top Racing UK says, as that Min Adam goes very wide. Yeah, Min Adam very wide in Montreal. You'd be looking at a benchmark time of Gary's time. I think Gary was on pole for the race last night. I know I was racing in it, but sometimes I have a pretty bad memory. So probably a benchmark time of Gary's time would be the time to look at for the Class B qualifying list. So qualifying is now complete as the drivers finish their flying laps. We've got Big Boy Brazier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, in the pits, and also Keegs, so they've given up on their last flying lap. So Iceman will lead us in to Murray's, really kicking the car out there to keep up the momentum. And an improvement from Iceman, a 2:04.0, 3/10 quicker than Tin Top Racing UK's prediction, which leaves him 5/10 ahead of D Biggs. Can he improve? No improvement from him. Here comes Jack to get onto the front row of the grid. He can't improve either. Can Matahimovic move himself up to the front row? He improves but stays 4th. Here comes Sutty. Any improvement from him? An improvement from Sutty with a 2:06.5 brings him up into 7th, relegating Keegs down to 8th, who's over. KJ Argent's finished, Reddy's finished. Here comes Rocket now. Had a good start to the session. Dropped back to 12th now. Any improvement from him with the warmer tyres? And we actually will see now when it comes up. It looks like no improvement from Rocket there. So Iceman will take pole for the second time tonight. 4/10 back to Gary in 2nd. Great result from him. D Biggs in 3rd, Jack 4th, Matahimovic championship leader in 5th, Big Boy Brazier 6th, Suddy Apex 7th, Keegs 8th, KJ Argent in 9th, Starscream rounding out the top 10 with Rockets in 11th, Rebby 12th, and Min Adam back in 13th. A 2:04 flat from Iceman. What a quality lap from, according to Tin Top Racing UK. Certainly is, and puts him almost half a second clear of Gary, Class B winner, on the front row of the grid. So great showing from him too, really mixing it up with these Class A guys. Can he go for a double and get the win in both classes at round 5 at Snetterton? Let's see now as we join the drivers on the grid. The red lights are on. And oh, great start from Gary. Could have been a jump start. It's Gary now that's in the lead. So Gary takes the lead of this one. Iceman in 2nd. D-Big's back in 3rd as Iceman's all over Gary's bumper now. Gary defensive into Montreal. And now Biggs is alongside, D-Biggs is alongside Iceman. And it looks like we're all safely through the first 2 or 3 corners in this Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. I can't believe I've said that. No incidents. Gary's still leading from Iceman. And it looks like Min Adam, or no, it's Jack up. Oh, Jack and Matahimovic have had contact. They're both on the grass. Looks like Jack squeezed Matahimovic there onto the grass. They're going to go side by side into Hamilton. Jack takes back the position. Matahimovic though is going to dive up the inside, is he? Hits that sausage curve, and now he's got KJ Argent all over the back of him. The Suddy Apex and Keegs following behind. Up the front then, Gary still leading from Iceman in second, D-Big's third, Big Boy Brazier fourth, Jack fifth, Matahimovic sixth, Keegs in seventh with Starscream eighth, Min Adam ninth, Rebby 10th. Oh, and Rockets has had a big incident on the Bentley straight. He's dropped down. Front bumper and bonnet of that car missing, and the spoiler, as we have a number of drivers off there. That Starscream going wide. So a big accident for Rocket there, and he's got going again nice and slowly. Only visual damage on these cars, so he should be able to continue running without any too much damage. He might just have a cracked windscreen, which might impair his view a little bit. But it's Gary who is leading this race. Pulled out a half a second gap to Iceman, as we've got Big Boy Brazier up the inside of D-Biggs into Richie's. D-Biggs a little bit sideways, but Big Boy Brazier is up the inside. There's a little bit of door banging there just to let him know he's there, to give him the room as they break from Montreal. Oh, the Big Boy Brazier has actually gone up the inside of the curb there. That could be a slowdown. Biggs was very quick. D-Biggs was very quick around the outside there. Matahimovic and Jack still battling it out for 5th and 6th. Not been the best of starts to this evening's run-ins for Matahimovic. Lights on to let Jack know he wants to get that position. A little bit further back, we've got Min Adam all over the back of Sutty. Bumper hanging off, so potentially contact between Min Adam and Rocket, judging on that. That visual damage on Min Adam's car. As Gary still leads it from Iceman. D-Biggs in third with Big Boy Brazier in fourth. Jack 5th, Matahimovic 6th. Nice weight reduction for Rocket, says Tin Top Racing UK. Definitely, as I mentioned, it's only visual damage in this league. As online leagues, there tend to be more crashes than normal, so it's only fair that it's only visual damage to let everyone continue racing to the best of their abilities. Iceman's closed up to the back of Gary now. The lights are on as well. Gary very well used to being in the lead in the Class B races. It won't phase him at all. Oh, as he's gone a bit sideways, could be commentator's curse as he runs wide there. Potentially a slowdown as Iceman's going to take the lead. They're side by side up to start finish straight now. Iceman moves in front with a better run out of that corner. A bit of a commentator's curse there coming out of Murray's for Gary. But he'll be all over the back of Iceman waiting for a mistake. As he runs wide there, that could potentially be a slowdown as well. In terms of penalties so far, D-Biggs, or Big Boy Brazier, apologies, has a penalty, and also Min Adam has a penalty too, as Starscream's up the inside. Min Adam runs wide, gives him the room, and they're now side by side coming up to Palmer. Min Adam's actually got a better run and he's ahead of Starscream there. Bit of lag there from Min Adam's car. So the Apex right behind, as the gap is they're side by side coming into Augie's now. Gary looking for the switchback onto the Bentley straight. He'll need a really good run now out of Williams to get the slipstream. Iceman very quick though, and he's not really closing in as much as he would have wanted, but you can see it now at the second phase of this straight. Gary moves to the inside, coming into Brundle, backs out of it though, and Iceman keeps the lead into Nelson, keeping the power down as they exit. Neil J, who's known as NJ in the Class B, saying in chat, Gary showing the League A how the League B rolls. I hope you haven't up on Iceman now into Richie's. Iceman, little Gary flashing the lights, letting him know he's there as he goes for a lunge on the inside. Oh, he's gone corner. He almost hit Iceman there. That could have been disastrous for the two of them. A very late lunge from Gary, but Iceman still keeps the lead. This battling is going to allow Biggs and Big Boy Brazier to catch up on them now as they're side by side again down to Agostini. Great racing from the two of them. Quite surprising to see Gary go for such a lunge like that. He wants to win, he wants to prove himself in Class A, but Iceman has a championship to think about as well, so you would think that would be in Gary's mind. But still, it's in a race driver's DNA to go for that gap, and he wants that win as much as any of these other drivers. Mark Phelan in the chat, still expect a drive-through for Gary after what looked like a jump start. Definitely there's a bit of a query over Gary there now, whether he got a jump start or not. We've seen it last night a few times, some drive-through penalties. Tin Top Racing UK agrees. Was an excellent last couple of laps from the front three last night, says Tin Top Racing UK. Will there be a repeat tonight? There well could be, Tin Top Racing UK. But Iceman seems to have pulled out a lead now from Gary of 1.2 seconds. D-Big still in third with Big Boy Brazier in fourth. He's got Jack all over the back of him now. Jack will be wary of that penalty too that Big Boy Brazier has, so he won't try anything drastic just yet. But there's still 5 minutes to go in this race, just over 5 minutes, and a lot is still possible. Championship leader Manahimovic back in sixth. Hasn't really put a stamp on this race either. He is struggling around this track. Snetterton, the 300 layout is a tough layout, and we've seen it last night as well. A big reshuffle in the timings from the Class B drivers. There's a lot of corners where you can lose 1 or 2 tenths of a second a lap, and that can accumulate to 8-9 tenths for the whole lap. Everyone's entitled to their bogey track, and maybe this is Matahimovic's track. Made Adam back in 7th. Still a bit laggy. You can see the damage on his car from KJ Argent in 8th, with Starscream right behind him. The two teammates in the same livery as KJ Argent actually runs wide there. Could Starscream capitalise on this? With Sutty Apex back in 10th, Rebby in 11th, Keegs in 12th, and Rockets after that incident on the first lap back in 13th. And Jack still looking for a way past Big Boy Brazier here as they come on through Williams onto the Bentley straight. Neil J, thanks for updating us in the chat. Gary says he didn't jump the start, so that if that could answer the questions in the chat there, this could be a real race for the victory between Gary and Ice. Manahimovic in the chat, the slowdown penalties are useless. Didn't no one ever tell you you can't text and drive? Manahimovic, obviously on his own on the straights, quite long straights here, he's able to put a comment into the chat. So Keegs back in 12th on the back of Rebby. Coming through Coram now. You can see the bodywork hanging off Keegs' car. Obviously a bit of front to bumper damage, front to bumper contact. A bit of a lock up there as he hits the sausage curb and goes up on 2 wheels. That'll lose momentum. He seems to be okay though. He's got to still keep him with Rebby. This is the closest battle on track now as well. KJ Argent, Starscream and Sutty for 8th, 9th and 10th. Sutty however has a time penalty, so he'll be looking to pull away from Rebby and Keegs behind. A lock-up from KJ Argent again into that corner. Still keeps ahead of Starscream. Because now Sutty's going to have a look. At Starscream, potentially KJ Argent on the grass, 2 wheels on the grass. It's going to slow him down. KJ Argent very wide again. Sutty's going looking for the... Oh, KJ Argent straight up on the sausage curbs there. All 4 wheels in the air. Still manages to keep ahead of Starscream, however. But Starscream's going to have to run onto the Bentley straight now, into the slipstream. Not close enough for... Oh, as I said that, he had a look as KJ Arden's very wide, and who's that? Min Adam has gone up on 2 wheels in front as well, almost taking out the cameraman there. KJ Arden still managing to keep ahead after a big slide there coming into Brundle. Starscream all over the back of him, with Suddy Apex also all over the back of Starscream, so Starscream's having to both attack and defend. KJ Arden straight over the sausage curbs again. These Class A drivers are using them as launch ramps tonight. Is there some sort of trick that makes them faster by cutting the corner and launching over that ramp? Back up front though, Iceman has extended his lead to just under a second now from Gary in second. D Biggs has pulled out, and 3-second lead gap over Big Boy Brazier, who has Jack behind him. Most likely will be a reverse in position there come the end of the race, with just a minute and a half left to go based on Big Boy Brazier's penalties. Oh, and that's KJ Argent's gone wide in the background. Apologies, Starscream with the same livery. Starscream goes wide, manages to keep ahead now. That should be a slowdown penalty for Starscream, as Min Adam goes wide in the back too. 4 Clios locking their brakes into Agostini, and we've got Starscream and KJ Arden side by side up to Hamilton. 2 doesn't go into 1, and Starscream backs off and lets KJ Arden through. As KJ Arden spun it, he's caught the curb on the outside of Hamilton, lost in the grass, and Suddy Apex has claimed 2 positions from that. Suddy played the patient game, and he's now up to 8th place after a mistake from KJ Arden. Possibly Starscream reacting to KJ Argent's spin there has allowed Suddy through. Either way, he's up 2 places, and he'll look to keep that lead now. I mean, Adam is struggling. Oh, I think it's more the lag than anything. He keeps looking like he's going off the track and then recenters. The gaps come down slightly at the front at half a second now, as Gary very good under brakes there into Montreal. Perhaps why he went for that move earlier in the race. He's quite good on the brakes into that hairpin. But the title, it's all in the name, Iceman, as cool as ice so far in this race. Wary of Gary behind him, but it hasn't phased him at all. Consistently banging in quick laps. A 2:04.2 his previous lap, which is only 2/10 off his qualifying pace. So good pace from our race leader. D-Biggs nice and comfortable in 3rd. Big Boy Brazier still ahead of Jack. Jack just can't seem to close, but as we said, Big Boy Brazier with the penalty, maybe Jack's just playing the waiting game, just keeping with him and keeping in the slipstream. Matahinovic still in 6th. I've been updated in the comments that it's actually his wife that's commenting on the stream, so it's good to hear that you aren't texting and driving, Matahinovic. Min Adam back in 7th, with Suddy closing right up on him now, so Suddy's going to have a look for a 7th position potentially, as well as Starscream and KJ Arden have... Oh, and that's Keegs. Keegs has gone off at the exit of Hamilton on the curb. Same place KJ Argent had that incident. Has caught Keegs out. We now have Starscream and Suddy, Starscream and KJ Argent, apologies, still continuing their race long battle here. Michael Matthews, aka Peaceful Explosion, says, see how cool he is when Group B racer passes him out. We'll see how it is as the gap's down to 2 tenths now. Gary's all over, and that's actually the end of the race. So Iceman takes the victory from Gary in second. Great showing from him. A first in Class B and a second in Class A is great showing from him. D Biggs takes third. Jack is in fourth. From Big Boy Brazier in fifth with a penalty. Matahimovic will come across the line in sixth. Sully Apex has done mid-Adam somewhere. Who's that off? It's KJ Argent's gone off at the last corner. So Sully Apex will climb 7th, Mid-Adam will claim 8th, Starscream 9th, KJ Argent 10th. Rebby's going to come home with quiet race in 11th. Keegs will come home in 12th, and Rocket Man, who missing his front bumper and bonnet down the Bentley straight, will come home in 13th. We missed the end of the race there, ladies and gentlemen, as there's just so much action in these Clios. I don't know where to look, don't know which car to be focused on. Gary closed up there to Iceman towards the end. Starscream and KJ Argent, a race long battle between the two of them, with Sully Apex taking advantage of their mistakes. As usual, it's just incredible, great close racing from the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. Tin Top Racing UK in the chat, congrats Iceman. Even if you support a crap team, in brackets I'm a Leeds fan too. Well done Gary, 2 nights in a row. Yeah, big shout out to Gary. That's great, and a great achievement for him to come up to the A class and show his speed in the big boys league. Potentially could be a contender for the next season of the championship in the A class. They'll all be wary of him if he goes up to the A class next season. So just a roundup of the results. Iceman takes first place from Gary in second. D Biggs in third from Jack in fourth. Big Boy Brazier drops to fifth with the time penalty. Matahimovic championship leader in sixth from Sully Apex in seventh. KJ Argent eighth. Mid-Adam ninth. Starscream down to 10th. With Rebby in 11th, Keeks 12th, and Rocket in 13th after that first lap incident. So Iceman makes it 2 from 2 on the night. This man means business. Let's see if he can continue it as we head into the hard compound Ginetta Super Cup, apologies, which is our third race of the night. Thanks for the fun, folks. I'm out of here, and well done on the commentary, Ben, says Tin Top Racing UK. Thanks very much, guys. It's been a pleasure having you. We look forward to seeing you next week as we head to Silverstone International Circuit, I believe, Wednesday and Thursday night again, so we'll see you there, guys. Thanks for joining in. Iceman with the fastest lap of the race as well, by 2 tenths to Gary. Perhaps was just a little bit cautious through the last part of that race, making sure not to make any mistakes that Gary could capitalise on. Great action as always from the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. As now we move on to the hard compound Ginetta Super Cup. Very interesting cars to drive also on cold tyres. Rear wheel drive, tend to kick out a lot. Ignore the Vantage DT4 on my screen, as I'm not taking part in the race, as we all know. This is a one class Ginetta Cup. Matahimovic in the comments, think I might need to stick to commentary. Great commentary, Neil NJ says, from last night. Indeed, very hard for me to follow from an excellent commentator in Matthew Duffin, aka Matahimovic, from last night. So as we look at the championship standings for this class, it's our race winner from both races tonight, Iceman, who leads the championship by 100 on 130 points, 30 points clear of Matahimovic in second, D-Biggs in third on 96, Suddy Apex in fourth on 91, Jack in fifth on 67. Now there's an actual mistake in the points there. It says Big Boy Brazier is on 76, so that would promote him to fifth, with Jack in sixth on 67. Minadam tied in sixth on 67 points as well, with Keegs in eighth on 60. As mentioned, AMH Racing won't be taking part. He's in ninth on 37, with Rebby 10th, Buy My Cars 11th, Starscream 12th, KJ Argent 13th, Carmelicious, who's not here, in 14th, and Aidan Hills, who's not here, in 15th. Yeah, a lot of comments coming in with praise for Matt's commentary from last night. It was brilliant, says Craig Leach. I thoroughly agree. After the racing last night, I stayed up half the night watching the stream back. It's very enjoyable to watch, so hats off to Matthew for a great commentary as we begin our qualifying session here for the Ginetta Super Cup. As Matthew said last night, let's see, it's more instead of a qualifying session, it's how many people do we count spinning, as we have AMH Racing has actually joined us for this round. So welcome AMH to the class. As you can see already, we have a number of, a big collision there, Iceman and a few others, it looks like. Iceman and Rebby and Big Boy Brazier involved as well. Oh, and there's a big off for Biggs, it looks like. D-Biggs, yeah. Very cold tyres in these. Yeah, really have to feed the throttle in slowly and be patient. There's enough downforce in the cars to get you through the corner, and then it's all about being patient. As you can see there, who's another one off at Agostini was Keegs, the 96 livery machine. Oh, another off on the Bentley straight. Lucky it's only the out lap, not affecting anyone's laps. Who will we go on board with for this one? We'll go on board with Iceman, the leader in this class. As we join him coming through Coram now into Murray's, the final corner on this Snetterton 300 layout. We've got traffic in front. Potentially we'll use it as a slipstream to gain a few tenths for his qualifying lap. Grabbing fifth across the line as we head up to Ritchie's. Drops down to fourth, keeping nice and tight to the apex. Up to fifth, and then braking hard at the first marker board into the Montreal chicane. Back to first, feeding the throttle in to keep the car turned. Up through the gears, second, third, dabbing the brakes, keeping nice and tight through Palmer. Again, feeding the throttle in into arguably one of the harder corners on the circuit now in these cars. Agostini down to second, very patient on the throttle, as you can see on the right hand side. Very easy to go around in a circle there in Agostini. Drops back to third through Hamilton. getting on the brakes for Oggies. Very important to get a good exit out of this corner that sets you up for Williams and the Bentley straight. Into third, keeps it in third on the Cole tyres, and now onto the Bentley straight. Is he close enough to the car in front to use the slipstream? This looks like a rocket. Into Brundle, down to fourth, and should drop it back to second. Yeah, as we're going through Nelson, a little bit sideways as he hit the curb. Not too much damage done. Oh, and it looks like Rocket's gone for a big off there. All four wheels in the air as he goes, cutting the grass on the outside of Coram. Dabbing the brakes now as these cars get very sideways into Murray's. Back to first to get a good run out. And Iceman's going to be the first man across the line to set a benchmark lap time of a 1 minute 54.1, so that's a very strong opening lap from Iceman on Cole tyres. Can anyone else match that? D-Biggs 156, 1.8 seconds behind Jack on a 158.3 in third. So the Apex up to third with a 156.4, 2.3 off. As here comes Rocket. Apologies, Rocket, I don't think it was you that went off grass cutting, according to the timings. Rocket goes 10th on a 205. I think it could have been Rebby that went off grass cutting. He's 11 seconds off potentially. Matahimovic with a slow opening lap as well, just getting to grips with the Cole tyres. What's everyone's predictions in the chat for this one? Who's going to take pole? Or is there a question of who can beat Iceman to pole in this race? And also, what are your predictions for the race as well? Race winner and the podium potentially. Would be interesting to see people's thoughts on that. So currently Iceman leading as he coming around to complete his second qualifying lap, with D Biggs in second. So the Apex in third, 2.3 off. I expect these times to improve with the warming of the tyres. No improvement from Iceman that time around, so a great opening lap from him. D-Biggs, any improvement? He does indeed, a 154.4, 2 tenths off Iceman. Jack, no improvement by looks, but still 1.4 off, which would be an improvement actually. So he's still fourth with Gary in fifth, last night's winner of the Class B. Improves on his time, brings him up to third, 1.1 seconds off. Big boy Brazier in fifth. It drops Suddy Apex back to sixth now, with Matahimovic in seventh. Improves on his time, but is still 3.8 seconds off the lead. Currently lying second in the championship, struggling on this track as he goes for a spin in the Montreal. Oh, and a big smack there from Adam, telling him get out of the way. Craig Leach in the chat cheering on Suddy Apex in this one, and looks like he's got AMH as his prediction for pole. AMH currently with no lap time. Let's see if he can get a decent lap in this time round. 2.5 minutes to go now. Iceman coming around for his third qualifying lap through Coram. Any improvement? It is 0.07 of a second quicker, and AMH goes pole. As Craig Leach predicted, AMH is taking pole by 1 second over Iceman at 53.0. Incredible from that driver. AMH was the crash cutter according to Craig Leach. Thank you for that, Craig. A whole second quicker than Iceman. That's an incredible time. And well done, Craig, for that prediction. There's still a minute and a half left. Can anyone else improve on that? So we've got Iceman in second, D-Biggs third, with Big Boy Brazzer just gone fourth from Gary in fifth. Jack in sixth with Study Apex seventh, KJ Argent in eighth. Adam in ninth improves on his time by 9/10. Matahimovic in 10th now. Shouldn't improve after that spin at Montreal. Bits of bumper hanging off his car. Keegs going wide there in 11th through Montreal. That'll be a invalidated lap. Rebby in 12th with Starscream. No improvement from him in 13th. And Rocket back in 14th. So Adams in the pits early with 40 seconds left. Must have had an off there on his last lap. And AMH has gone grass cutting again, Craig Leach. That'll be no improvement from him, and that'll be an invalid lap. Wouldn't be surprised. Now he's gone off again. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the pits there, as he does. Here comes Iceman now. Can he get any closer? If not, top AMH's time. And it's no improvement. So provisionally AMH is on pole with Iceman in second. Biggs has spun it at Murray's. That'll be the end of his lap. Looks like Study Apex is next. Yeah, Suddy looks like he's next to come over the line. And improvement from Suddy, 155.3 brings him up to 6th. KJ Argent stays 8th. Big Boy Brazier in 4th with Gary in 5th. Last night's winner. And Suddy Apex 6th, Jack 7th, KJ Argent 8th. We've got Adam in the pits in 9th. Matahimovic in 10th. Not the qualifying session he would have wanted either. With Keegs in 11th, Rebby in 12th, Starscream 13th, and here comes Rocket up to 12th, pushes Rebby to 13th, Starscream to 14th, as he has a huge off coming into the pits there. Damaging up that car. That's going to be an expensive repair for the team, as he automatically goes back to the box. So an amazing lap from AMH there to go a whole full second ahead of Iceman in qualifying. If that's anything to hint from the race, Iceman could have it all to do with chasing AMH. These cars are very nimble, so AMH obviously has this car hooked up. Hasn't competed in any of the rounds since the opening round of this championship, AMH, where he actually scored 37 points, which is maximum points of a win, pole and fastest lap. And he's joined back in here today, so if he'd kept that up for the whole season instead of not racing, he could well be leading this championship. But anyway, he's on pole for this one. Iceman is actually 7/10 off now. He must have improved on his lap. In second, D-Biggs third, Big Boy Brazier 4th, Gary 5th, Suddy Apex 6th, Jack 7th, KJ Argent 8th, Adam 9th, Matahimovic rounding out the top 10, Keegs 11th, Rocket 12th, Rebby 13th, and Starscream back in 14th. So we're lined up on the grid for this one. 3 red lights, and we're going. A great start from AMH. A slow one, and that's Big Boy Brazier up to second ahead of Iceman. So AMH leads into the first corner. Big Boy Brazier second, Iceman third, Suddy Apex 4th, and D-Biggs and Gary in 5th or 6th. KJ Argent 7th, Adam 8th, as Iceman goes up the inside of Big Boy Brazier. They're side by side, and that's Sutty's gone wide, Gary's gone. Someone's off in the grass there, it looks like KJ Argent. As Big Boy Brazier's back ahead of Iceman now, heading down to Agostini. Iceman goes for the look down the inside. Bit of door banging, but he's made that move stick, and Iceman's up to second. This is not what he wants, to be battling with Big Boy Brazier this early and letting AMH just run away with a 1.5 second lead already. Big Boy Brazier is off, and Hamilton ran wide on that curb as we've seen in the Clios previously. Still holds on to third. Gary in fourth. Sutty Apex in fifth. Now Gary's going to have a good run on Big Boy Brazier onto the Bentley straight. Is he going to go for a move? He's looking, but he's just going to... yeah, it's just going to sit in behind Big Boy Brazier there. Play cool. Still a long way to go in this race. So the Apex back in 5th from Biggs in 6th. Jack 7th, Minadam 8th. Matahimovic up to 9th, 1 place. Keegs 10th. Starscream from the back of the grid to 11th. Then it's Revy, KJ Argent with that off. And Rocket, who's just had a little moment there at Nelson. But it's this man AMH who has a 1.4 second lead over Iceman in second at the opening lap. Big Boy Brazier has Gary all over the back of him now and is trying to make that Ginetta as big as possible through Richie's. As Gary very good on the brakes there, almost tipping Big Boy Brazier. This is not what they want to be doing though, is battling so early on, letting the 2 leaders ahead. Sutty from behind. Who else have we got? We've got Keegs, Matahimovic and Starscream for 9th, 10th and 11th. Oh, and Keegs has had a moment in Agostini. He's caught the curb, he's kept it straight. Starscream off in the background too, couldn't capitalise on that mistake. So the field fairly strung out at the moment. Nothing too major going on. AMH with a 1.2 seconds, so that lead is coming down to from Iceman. We could be on for a cracking finish now. AMH, however, probably just playing it cool, keeping it on the road. When he needs to, he can just press that button and start putting in the quali laps to keep him ahead of Iceman. Still a 10th quicker than Iceman that time around. So Gary now has Sutty Apex on the back of him. He's dropped off Big Boy Brazier a little bit. Just as I say that, he's caught up back into Montreal. Gary's very quick there, but he's run wide. These cars very tricky, as I mentioned. Even on the warm tyres, the back end loves to kick out and can easily go into a spin if you're not careful. As we've got Keegs all over the back of Rocket here, as Keegs going to have a look at the inside into Montreal. Oh, he's locked the brakes, he's gone straight on and over the sausage curb at Montreal. He's spun it. That's going to allow Matahimovic through. So Matahimovic in 11th place now after that incident. 1 second is the gap now to Iceman at the front from 8. Gary's got up to 3rd. Big Boy Brazier's had a moment somewhere we haven't seen on screen. He's dropped back to 7th. So Big Boy Brazier's had an off. It's promoted Gary to 3rd, Sutty Apex to 4th. He's got Biggs all over him now in 5th. Very aggressive from D Biggs there into Murray's. Getting up on 2 wheels. Over the kink, but he's got a good run on Sutty here. He's gone to the inside for Richie's, but he's dropped back in behind his bumper and knows better than that. And he'll try to look for a move now into Montreal potentially. A bit wide there, but he's kept it straight. As the gap at the front's now down to half a second. Iceman closing in on AMH. 8/10 quicker that lap than the leader. Let's hop on board with Iceman, see where he is picking up that time. Through Hamilton they go into Oggies, and you can see the board's actually gone from Oggies. That could throw a few people off for your marker. You break about 10 to 15 meters before the marker board. Fairly even through Williams onto the Bentley straight between the two of them now. So you can see Iceman makes up a lot of time into Brundle and Nelson. That's where he seems to be closing in. A little bit cautious on exit, has let AMH away again. Oh, a little bit sideways from AMH. Iceman's right back on his tail. We're in for an exciting finish between these two as D Biggs has got past Sutty in the background for 4th and 5th. And can he do anything about Gary in 3rd place now, D Biggs? He'll be on the hunt to try and catch him. Gary waiting patiently in 3rd for any incident that may occur between our 1st and 2nd place drivers. Iceman right on the back of AMH again. This is going to be a great finish now with 7 minutes to go. Sutty keeping with D Biggs though. Since he got by him, is Jackson 6th. Big Boy Brazier after a mistake looking to get back ahead, make up a few places here. Starscream a quiet race for him in 8th, but he's got KJ Argent on his back with Matahimovic there in 10th. Adam quiet enough. Oh, a little bit of lag there, almost throwing him off the circuit again. In 11th with Rocket in 12th. Rebby back in 13th. And Keegs in 14th. No change at the front yet. And it's a case of whether AMH rather is a chaser or likes being chased. He seems to be handling it okay at the moment. But Iceman is definitely on a mission. He wants 3 out of 3 wins tonight. As it looks like we've got Big Boy Brazier on the back of Jack and Sutty for 5th, 6th and 7th. Jack going defensive quite early. Could it have cost him now out of Richie's? Probably didn't need to go as defensive. Big Boy Brazier was a long way behind. He's actually gone up the inside and he's hit Sutty Apex and they've gone into a spin. Jack spun it and he's dropped back to 7th now. Tagged Sutty Apex on the entrance to Montreal, and Big Boy Brazier's taken advantage of that and has moved up to 6th. Sutty, however, remains in 5th, lucky enough. was able to correct that collision with Jack. Another mistake from Jack now in the Super Cup race. He had a mistake earlier on in the evening that cost him a few positions. He saw the gap, but he went for it though. Meanwhile, Matahimovic is on the back of KJ Argent as well. They have the place of Minadam. As KJ Argent locks up there into Agostini, runs wide. So does Matahimovic, in fact. No time gained there, unfortunately for him. So it's with just under 4 minutes to go. AMH still leads the race. Iceman in second, 4/10 behind from Gary in third. Quiet race for him. 8 seconds back in third. D Biggs in fourth. So the Apex fifth after that incident with Jack, who's in sixth. Now Big Boy Brazier's dropped back to seventh again. Long way back from the two in front. Looks like he had an incident there somewhere between the Bentley Straight and Coram. So Big Boy Brazier just not gone well for him tonight in this race. Has the pace, but just a few mistakes now has just led him to drop him back to 7th. KJ Argent still in 8th from Matahimovic in 9th. Minadam in 10th. He's got Starscream closing in on him in 11th. Keegs back in 12th and Rebby 13th. And Rocket at the back of the pack in 14th. It's all closed up at the front here again. Iceman right behind AMH is getting closer and closer every lap. AMH with a bit of a wider approach into Agostini. Oh, Iceman's had a little bit of a moment there. Held it well. A very exciting end to this race now. Can he do anything about AMH? So with 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go, this could be the penultimate lap. As Iceman, look, with the camera refocuses, it's right on the back of AMH now. This could be the final lap that we're on to now. 1.5 minutes left to go. Takes 1 minute and 54 seconds to get around this track. And Iceman's going for it up the inside. Ooh, very close there. Right on the bumper, AMH. Into Agostini for the final time. A little bit twitchy there from Iceman. Has allowed AMH just a slight 6/10 of a gap now. AMH will try to break that slipstream from Iceman now, coming onto the Bentley Straight. Iceman not close enough yet to mount a challenge for the lead. But he's very quick through Williams. He's caught right back up to AMH now. That's not what he would have wanted. We know how quick Iceman is through this next section. Into Brundle and Nelson for the final time. Through the bomb hole up to Coram now. It looks like this could be AMH's race. Iceman not close enough yet. But he's got a good run out of the last corner, out of Murray's. If the camera can refocus, the gap is coming down. But it's going to be AMH Racing who's going to take the victory from Iceman on his bumper. Nothing to separate them coming across the line. Gary's going to come home in third. Flashlights from Gary, well done, another podium for you. D-Biggs back in fourth. It's going to be Suddy Apex in fifth from Jack in sixth. Big Boy Brazier's going to come home seventh. He's got a time penalty, shouldn't affect the order. And then a long gap back to Matahimovic in eighth. Not gone his way tonight, unfortunately. But there's still 2 races left to go. Hopefully he can pull something out of the bag. Matahimovic going to come across the line in 8th from KJ Argent in 9th. A gap back to Minadam in 10th then. The Lagmobile, as I like to call it. Starscream in 11th. Rebby's going to come home in 12th. And Rocket, with his front bumper hanging off, going to come home in 13th. I think we potentially lost someone along the way. 14 starters if I was correct. We'll find out now once the classifications come up. A brilliant race up front. Cracking race, as Craig Leach. Definitely nothing to separate them at the end. And in fact, Iceman has come home first in that race again. That looks to be a problem on the race director. So AMH takes the win from Iceman in second. Gary in third. From D-Biggs at fourth. Suddy Apex fifth. Jack sixth. Big Boy Brazier seventh with that penalty. Matahimovic in eighth. KJ Argent ninth. Minadam 10th. Starscream 11th. Rebby 12th. Rockets 13th. And Keegs 14th with their retirement early on in the race. Bit of an issue tonight with the timing system. It seems two races now it's been where the first and second have reversed. We've seen that previously at Alton Park in round 4. The game just technology can glitch sometimes, so that result will be reversed, I'm sure, by race control. So an action-packed evening already, as usual in the THR Racing League. Class A providing great entertainment as always, following up from the action of Class B last night. As we move on to the British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB, race 4 of 5 of the night. Using the GT3 Carrera Cup cars in the Project Cars game. A lot of downforcing in these cars, but also very, very loose if you put the power down too early around this Snetterton track. And if we look at the standings after 4 rounds of the British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB, it's Iceman who leads on 66, just 2 points ahead of Matahimovic in second. He'll be looking for a better race this time to hopefully challenge for that top spot in the championship. AMH Racing in third after not completing the last round on 62 points. D-Biggs in fourth with Jack fifth. Suddy Apex is in 6th with Keeg 7th, Minadam 8th, Big Boy Brazier 9th, and Rebby rounds out the top 10. By My Cars, who's been absent tonight, is in 11th, from Starscream 12th, KJ Argent 13th, Car Malicious, who's also absent, and Aidan Hills, who is not taking part, is in 15th. So, what is everyone's predictions for this race? We've got 16 viewers. I'm only seeing 2 or 3 predictions per race. What are all your opinions, guys? Would love to see them in the comments. It's great to have Class A stream back up and running. As we begin the qualifying session for the British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup. Matthew Gardner in the chat says Ben Phelan 97 to win. Fortunately, I'm in the commentary booth tonight, Matthew. Not quite there yet to get into the Class A. Hopefully next season, maybe. Craig Leach, easy AMH race, this one. Hopefully we can have a good competition between AMH, Iceman, and hopefully Matahimovic too, getting back. NJ after Silverstone, easy AMH win. The predictions are for AMH so far, so we're gonna ride on board with him potentially for a lap. Mark Phelan says, come on Matt, get it back together. Bill commentary last night, get it together on track. Andrew Taylor says Iceman or AMH. A correction there from Mark. Brilliant commentary from Matthew. Get it back together tonight. Stephen, thanks for joining the chat. Enjoying the race and pleasure having you here. Hope to see you next week. So as we're going to ride on board with AMH for a lap of this Snetterton 300 circuit, you can see warming up the tyres there. Just 4 points separates the top three in this championship. Iceman leading for Matahimovic second, and our onboard man AMH in third. As we go through third into fourth gear, down the start finish straight here in Snetterton. Grabs sixth. And just dabbing the brake at the first marker post, drops it back to fourth, nice and tight to the apex. First marker board again, braking nice and early. Second, even first sometimes, but AMH keeps it in second there. Slightly over the curb, but shouldn't affect him too much on exit. Up to fourth, dabs the brakes, back to third for Palmer. Slightly wide, as you can see these cars are very nimble. Hard on the brakes just before the marker board, back to second for Agostini, keeping a good run out up to Hamilton. Dabbing the brake, back to third over Hamilton, just getting a bit too much curb there, would unsettle car. Into Augie's, back to second, nice and tight, get a good apex. And another corner that can cause a lot of oversteer is Augie's. If you put the power down too early, can really affect you for Williams and Bentley Straight, as you can see we're on now. Up to Brundle, dropping to fourth for Nelson, down 2 gears to second. Hits that sausage curve a bit too much. Through the bomb hole, grabbing fourth. Oh, a little moment there, as you can see these cars are very tricky to bomb hole. A lot of drivers you'll see grabbing fourth just before the corner just to keep the car settled on low revs. As they come through Coram and into Murray's, oh, there's a big off front of us, hope it doesn't affect our time. As Gary is on provisional pole with a 148.6 from D Biggs in second, 4 tenths back. AMH goes pole with a 147.9, 6 tenths clear of Gary, with traffic, with a slight moment as well, so there's more to come from AMH on these next few laps. Rocket's having a moment there in Coram and he's lost it, so that'll be his time invalidated, potentially the next one too. Starscream for his first lap, a 159.3, a bit slower pace there, probably an error from him. As here comes Rockets, we know his lap's invalidated. Iceman, what can he do? Championship leader. still to set a time. Second place man Mata Himovic, 1.9 seconds off AMH at the moment in 6th place. Thank you Andrew in chat, Andrew Taylor aka Monkey Boy from last night. Managed to get my first ever pole last night. Yeah, well done Monkey Boy. Unfortunate about the start. Hopefully get a few more now for the rest of the season and can hopefully convert them into a win. So Iceman coming through Coram, through the bomb hole up to Coram now. As we've got Gary in front of us, I think. We do indeed. Can Gary improve on his time? 6/10 currently the gap to AMH. He does improve, and it's 14 thousandths of a second between Gary and AMH as Gary goes on to pole. Provisionally now, AMH will look to get that position back now with a cleaner lap this time round. D Biggs in 3rd. Suddy in 4th. D Biggs actually goes 4th. Suddy in 5th. Keeg 6th. Starscream 7th. Rocket 8th. KJ Argent 9th. Mid Adam 10th. Iceman still to set time. Potentially lap invalidated the last 2 times round. As Big Boy Razzier needs a lap too. Who's that in front of him? It's going to go up to set a time. Big Boy Brazier up to 10th with a 2:05, 12 seconds off the pace. So a couple of drivers still struggling with this track and these cars. Traffic, as you can see, Big Boy Brazier going wide there into Richie's. Traffic is a big problem in qualifying too. You can get caught up with a few people's incidents that could affect your time as well. Who else is close to finishing their laps? That's Min Adam there. We've got 2 cars coming up to, so we've got Gary and Iceman. What are they going to do? Gary goes even quicker and Iceman takes pole now with a 1:46.6. Goes up the inside of Gary. Nice big drift. Show off for the cameras. Iceman on a 1:46.6. Here comes AMH. He takes pole with a 1:46.0. 6/10 quicker than Iceman. Back and forth changes for pole position here as we enter the closing minutes of this British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB qualifying session. Mata Himovic in 3rd place has given up on his last lap. In the pits in 3rd. He'll be happy with that. A much better performance from him, provided no one tops his time. So the Apex still 6th with a 1.9. Keegs in 7th. Min Adam heads for the pits. Big Boy Brazier now goes 7th ahead of Keegs. KJ Argent is in 9th. Jack in 11th. A poor qualifying from him so far. We've seen in testing during the week he was pretty quick in these cars, so he'll be looking for a better performance now on this lap. Rebby in 12th, or with Rocket 13th, and Starscream in 14th. So here comes Gary and Iceman. Can they improve on their previous laps? Can they challenge AMH? No improvement from Iceman. No improvement from Gary either. Gary's in 5th. Time for one more lap for both of them guys with 30 seconds left. Here comes AMH for another lap. No improvement either. Must have got traffic. He has time for one more lap also. Iceman has hit the pits. No, must have had a mistake up in Montreal there. AMH has hit the pits as well, so the top 3 in the pits. So we've got D-Biggs and Gary who can trouble the top 3. Suddy Apex in 6th in the pits, Big Boy Brazier in the pits in 7th. Jack qualifying complete for Jack potentially. I don't think so, he's still going pretty quick. So everyone's hitting the pits now, so it's just D-Biggs and Jack with laps to complete. D-Biggs must be on a quick lap if he hasn't pitted yet. Hopes he can improve. He's 5/10 off his best sector. Hoping to make up some time now in the last sector as it comes through Coram. Here comes Gary, or sorry, D-Biggs, apologies. No improvement, stays 4th. And now we wait for Jack in the 182 machine. Car twitching all over the place into Murray's. Good car control from him. We can see a very laggy Porsche there in the pits. Jack improves but stays 8th. So well done to our comments predicting an AMH pole. I think it was Craig and Neil. So we've got AMH on pole by 0.6 of a second from Iceman in 2nd, Matahimovic in 3rd. This could be a cracking race between the 3 of them. 1st to 3rd in the championship, 1st to 3rd on the grid. D-Biggs in 4th with Gary in 5th, Suddy Apex 6th, Big Boy Brazier 7th, Jack back in 8th. Look out for him coming through the grid. Keegs in 9th, KJ Argent 10th, Min Adam in 11th, Rebby in 12th, Rockets 13th, and Starscream back in 14th. Starscream with not as good results as he'd anticipate in qualifying, but he has made it up in the race previously, so let's see what he can do. So here we go, the lights are on for the British Touring Car Track Porsche Carrera Cup GB, and we're racing. It's a good start from both our lead drivers. Gary's got a great start behind on Iceman. D-Biggs with a pretty poor start by the looks of it, but it's AMH that leads from Iceman in 2nd. Gary's up to 3rd. Oh, and there's an incident at the back. Matahimovic is up to 4th, but he's got Big Boy Brazier up the inside of him. Big Boy Brazier forced him wide and they've both lost out to Suddy Apex there. Oh, Matahimovic giving Suddy Apex a rub. Oh, and Suddy Apex has lost it in Palmer. He's gone on the inside, and there's a big incident behind. This Big Boy Brazier is involved, and he's hit D-Biggs. Rockets is off. D-Biggs is off. Who's that? Suddy Apex by the looks of it as well. So there's huge incidents here at the start of this race. But currently AMH leads by 0.6 of a second from Iceman in 2nd, Gary 3rd, Matahimovic in 4th. So it looked like he got caught up, but it's actually Big Boy Brazier in the same livery car. Jack up to 6th now, up 2 positions, so good start from him. Starscream with a bit of damage on his car, KJ Argent in 8th. And then it looked like Rebby, he has no damage, so he looks pretty safe. It looked like Big Boy Brazier and Downward that were all involved in that incident. Keegs, no rear wing on that car. D-Biggs got caught up as well. He made a pretty poor start, dropped a few places, and he's after spinning, coming through Nelson, Brundle and Nelson. Unfortunately for him, he drops down to last, and Suddy Apex also got involved. So now Iceman all over the back, AMH at the lead as we complete lap 1 of this 15-minute race. Matahimovic will like to see this now in the 2 lead. First and second battling away. Hopefully he can close up and we can have a great race between the 3 of them. AMH very consistent, doesn't seem to make very many mistakes as he runs wide there. Commentators curse again, and now he's having to defend from Iceman. Oh, and that's Min Adam, is it? Oh, it's just a lag mobile again. Suffered. It's giving me heart attacks all evening, thinking he's throwing it like that, throwing it off the track, but it's just a lag. Gary back in 6th, so a poor start from Gary as Min Adam hits the grass. Oh, it's an extremely laggy car there, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that one. KJ Argent back in 7th. He's got Big Boy Brazier looking to come back from that incident in 8th. Oh, and there's now a 4 second gap between AMH and Iceman. There must have been an incident. AMH now has a bit of breathing space to just put his head down and concentrate. Whether they touched there or it was a mistake of Iceman's. Adam Coop in chat, aka Mazda from last night. One spin and the tyres are dead and the car drives horrible. I have heard from previous commentary from JPH that if you do spin and hit the grass, yeah, your tyres can pick up a bit of dirt from the grass and it can be horrible to drive at them. So yeah, it's these guys won't be trying to bin it too much. As Gary gets up the inside of Jack, forces wide into Montreal, and Gary's up to 4th, Jack up to 5th from 8th. We said he was one to watch. He's quick in these cars, and the two of these guys need to work together to try catch up to Matahimovic in 3rd, who is closing in on Iceman after that incident or mistake that he made. So Jack and Gary through Hamilton. Oh, it's Matahimovic has run wide in Oggies. A bit of a lock up there. As we've got a battle back for 9th, 10th and 11th between KJ Argent, Biggs and Starscream. As D-Biggs runs wide at Hamilton, that's going to allow Starscream to close up a little bit. A very battered looking Porsche Carrera Cup car there from D-Biggs after that incident in turn 1. Min Adam has disconnected. Oh, D-Biggs has spun. Rockets is disconnected as well. D-Biggs has spun coming out of Williams. That's potentially due to the lag from the disconnection of the other drivers. Could have thrown him off. But it's AMH leads on lap 4, 4.8 seconds ahead of Iceman. Matahimovic in 3rd, but he's got Gary closing in on him, who's pulled away from Jack now. So we're heading into that 5-minute phase now where it's pretty calm. All the cars are spread out. Big Boy Brazier up to 7th now from KJ Argent. It's just going to be about getting the head down. Getting the head down and putting in some qualifying laps to catch up on the person in front. So we've only 11 drivers in this race now. 3 have disconnected by the looks of it. We've had a 3rd driver disconnect somewhere. We'll try to figure out who that is. Starscream off in the background. So it looks like Gary is closing in on Matahimovic. 3 seconds quicker that lap. Probably due to the lockup Matahimovic had coming into Oggies. They're just pulling away from Jack now. Jack hasn't been able to keep up with Gary since that overtake in Montreal. And it looks like Big Boy Brazier is the third driver to disconnect from the race. Running 7th at the time. Probably had an incident and has forced himself to retire. Adam Coupe Adam, cheering on Gary in this race. Fellow Class B driver. A great drive last night, Adam, to get your debut in, as mentioned before, in the Ginetta Junior class. And we look forward to racing with you next week. So D Biggs, after that spin, is catching up to Revy. Oh, and Revy's gone wide at Richie's. That's going to allow D Biggs through. There's the confirmation. Big Boy Brazier is disconnected as Biggs makes up position 9 from Revy at the Montreal hairpin. Gary's getting closer to Matt Himovic for 3rd place. Matt Himovic, of course, commentating on Gary's victory in this class last night. Will know how quick he is, and I'm sure he doesn't want to see him in the mirror. Coming through Coram now into Murray's for the 5th time. Matahimovic a little bit wider than Gary on approach. Oh, Gary very sideways there coming out of Murray's. Suddy Apex is disconnected now as well, so we're down to 10 drivers in this one. So there's 4 drivers now that have disconnected. Suddy Apex, Big Boy Brazier, Rocket and Min Adam are the 4 that have gone. As Gary goes up the inside of Matahimovic into Montreal chicane, they're side by side now. A very late lunge from Gary there, almost looked to touch Matahimovic, but Matahimovic takes the lead again. The lead for 3rd place, that is. Gary very quick into Montreal chicane in all classes. He's really been able to put the pressure on a lot of drivers there tonight, and he's going to look to have another go as it comes through Hamilton. A little look. Oh, Matahimovic has run over the grass in Hamilton. That's going to unsettle the car now, and Gary's going to have a good run out of Augie's. Oh, very early entry from Matahimovic there now. Gary's going to have a good run onto the Bentley straight. He's ducking out of the slipstream already. He's had that little dummy look into Brundle a few times tonight. Thinks better of it again. He's smarter than that. He's going to look. They're bumper to bumper here now, coming through the bottom hole. This could end in tears if they're not careful. Gary's having a look down the inside. Thinks better again. Little dab of the brakes as they come through Coram now into Murray's. Oh, Gary's lost it. Gary's lost into Murray's. Lost it on the brakes now, and Jack goes ahead of him. Oh, Gary just hasn't had the luck tonight that he had last night. Every time he's been doing well. We've seen it earlier in the Ginetta Junior race in 3rd. He lost it on the Exeter Richies, and now he's lost it in Murray's. And that's promoted Jack up to 4th. And Matahimovic will be wiping his forehead there, wiping the sweat off. He's got away there, got lucky, and should be safe enough in 3rd position. As this man AMH leads by 8.8 seconds from Iceman in 2nd. Great drive from him there today. As you can see, Iceman there coming to Hamilton in 2nd. Matahimovic, as we just seen in that battle with Gary, in 4th, with Jack 5th. Gary, can he get past Jack for a 2nd time tonight before the end of this race? We've got 3 minutes left. Let's see what he can do. D Biggs, a good recovery drive up to 6th now after that incident on the first lap. With KJ Argent in 7th, Starscream in 8th, Rebby in 9th, and Keegs rounding out the top 10 with a very battered Jap Speed Porsche car there. So pretty spread out grid, as you can see on the track map, thanks to the disconnecting of a few drivers, which is unfortunate. Potentially could be a reason to the race director failures, where it's swapping driver positions. Maybe the server, I believe KJ Argent is the lobby administrator, but maybe a lack of internet connection is causing the race director results, and also drivers disconnecting from the lobby too. So it's unfortunate for them guys, but I'm sure that we'll be delighted to see them back for the touring car race, sponsored by the British Touring Car Championship Blueprints. Oh, Jack's been very slow through Richie's there, and Gary's all over the back of him now. Is he going to have a look into Montreal, where he's been quickest all night? He dives down the inside, locks the brakes, goes a bit wide. Jack's going to get the cut back on him. Oh, he's pushing him onto the curb there. That could have ended in tears, but Jack continues in fourth. Gary flashing the lights at Jack, not happy with that squeezing perhaps. Gary's certainly the quicker driver of the two. These guys have been doing a lot of practice together and testing during the week, so they know each other's racing styles very well around this circuit. Gary, a good run through Williams there, and he's going to be in the tow onto the Bentley straight. Not quite as close as previous occasions. As we come up the Coram now again, Gary all over Jack's bumper. Oh, there's a little nudge there, and he's had a look. Oh, and he's had a little moment, and Gary's lost it again. Gary's lost it in the Coram, trying to go up the inside of Jack. Caught a wheel on the grass perhaps, and that's unsettled the car, and Gary's dropped out of contention for fourth place again. It's just not been Gary's race now, and these Porsches unfortunately handle slightly different to the previous three cars they've raced in tonight. They're not as stable when you're battling at high speeds like that. And Jack will be lucky, like Matahimovic, to hold on to fourth place now. So we're on to the final lap of this race, and this man, AMH Racing, a fairly quiet race for him. Had an opening few lap battle with Iceman before what looks like a mistake from Iceman has set him back in second by a long margin now of 11 seconds to be exact, as Iceman comes into Augie's. Matahimovic has had him off at Agostini. Gary still 6 seconds behind in fourth. Jack fifth. D-Big sixth. KJ Arden 7th, Starscream 8th, Rebby 9th, Keegs 10th. But it's going to be this man, AMH Racing, as he comes through the bomb hole for the final time of this British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB race. But it's going to be, I don't know why it says we're watching Gary, hopefully we can get back. Flash the lights from the 911 machine, and it's AMH who takes the victory. 11 seconds clear of Iceman in second. The race director says we're watching Gary, but here is Iceman, comes home in second to maintain his championship lead. I think so. Matahimovic will be in third. He'll be happy with that after a bad start to the evening. Third place for him on the evening. Gary's going to come home in fourth. So Jack's had a moment while we were watching the race winners. Gary's going to come in fourth after two incidents. He'll be delighted with that one. Jack, on the other hand, extremely disappointed. Would have been a great drive to fourth, but there's obviously been a mistake there that's put him back to fifth. D-Big's a great drive after that first lap incident. It's going to take sixth. Same thing happened last night at this track. Stayed focused on Murray's a lot on the final lap. Well done, D-Biggs in sixth. KJ Argent, a very battered 91 machine, going to come home in seventh. Oh, commentators curse again. KJ Argent's run wide. That could be a slowdown penalty, as he's got Starscream right behind him now. Looks like he's got away with it. Starscream's going to come home in 8th, KJ Argent in 7th, Rebby in 9th, and Keegs has already finished in 10th. A good bit of support for Gary now in this chat tonight. Come on, Gary, you can have him, says Adam. I would have to say Gary is lucky now to get 4th after two spins there. Jack must have had a moment. We didn't get to see that now in the chat. Should have had 3rd. Unlucky bro, says Craig Leach. So to round out the results, AMH takes the victory and fastest lap by 9/10 of a second from Iceman in 2nd. Matahimovic in 3rd. He'll be happy with that one. Get back on track. Gary in 4th after a hectic last 5 minutes, with Jack in 5th. D Biggs in 6th. And KJ Argent in 7th. Starscream in 8th, with Rebby 9th, and Keegs rounds out the top 10. 4 disconnections in that race, including Suddy Apex, Min Adam, Big Boy Brazier, and Rocket as well, disconnecting. So hopefully we'll see them 4 guys back for the next race, which is the BTCC Blueprints British Touring Car Championship, live from the Snetterton 300 layout. Well, what an action-packed night it's been so far, and it's just about to get better as well, with a lot of drivers' favourite class, the touring cars, coming up next. Great cars to drive around this Snetterton circuit. A mixture of oversteer, but it's well able to correct it with a lot of front wheel drive cars on the grid. Matthew Duffin, aka Matahimovic, in chat, cheers. He's a lot happier with that result. Hopefully he can carry that form into the final race of the night here. So for the first time tonight, the touring cars, a mixture of different cars on the grid in the class. You've got the BMW 320, you've got the Mercedes-Benz AMG, you've also got the Opel Astra in this class. As we all know, the Renault Megane is banned in this league, as it's slightly overpowered and reasonably quicker than the other cars. Majority of drivers you'll see will take the Mercedes car, although it seems to be a good mix in this class. Definitely in the B class, a lot of drivers taking the rear wheel drive Mercedes. We've seen Gary take the BMW last night and had the victory. He's in that car again tonight. We can have a run down through. It looks like KJ Argent's in the Mercedes, I think that is. Matahimovic opting for the BMW, as well as D Biggs. Jack is in the Astra. Suddy Apex in the Mercedes. Keegs, Rebby, Gary all in the BMW. Starscream in the Mercedes, Iceman in the BMW, and AMH in the BMW. So a lot of the quicker drivers in this class opting for the BMW, which is quite interesting. The top guys in the B class tend to race the Mercedes, but obviously the A guys know something that we don't. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Mark Phelan in the chat, will be interesting to see how Gary goes tonight in the BMW after a superb drive last night. Indeed, Gary was like a rocket off the line last night in that rear wheel drive BMW. He could have a lot more competition tonight now with a lot of the leading front runners in the BMW as well, so it'll be very interesting to see how it goes, and we wish him the best of luck. So a quick rundown through the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship for Class A. It's Iceman who leads on 64 points, from AMH Racing in second on 50. Jack is in third on 30. Oh, sorry, that's a mistake again. And Matahimovic is in third on 36, with Jack and D Biggs on 34. Starscream is in the table's actually kind of mixed up here. So we've got Sully Apex in 6th, it looks like, on 24, with Starscream in 7th on 23. Aiden Hill, the table is completely reversed. So we've got Keegs on 16, Aiden Hill's 14, Sutty on 13. Then it has Min Adam on 15, KJ Argent 14, Buy My Cars 12, Big Boy Brazier 9, and Car Malicious 8. So it's a bit of a mixed up table, but we have a fair idea. It's pretty close from 7th down. So there's a lot to play for in this round as we head into the second half of the season. So who's first on our track list today in this race? Looks as though it's Matahimovic, I think. Nope. The other orange car of Iceman, I think it is. We'll take someone else, I think, for a lap. We'll go on board with last night's winner, Gary. So as mentioned, Gary, 4 out of 5 wins last night in Class B. NJ in chat, D-Bigs for the win. Who else are people predicting? It's going to be very close up front, I think, with a lot of the top drivers picking the BMW. So if you can get your predictions for pole and the victory, it would be great in the chat, as we're going to ride on board with Gary, last night's winner, for a lap of the Snetterton 300 layout for the last time tonight. So as we come up onto the start finish straight, up through 4th, grabbing 5th early in these BMW 320 cars. Gary not opting to go to 6th, breaks into 4th, a little sideways from the car in front of him, and a little nudge from Gary just to let him know he's there, as he's going to dive down the inside into Montreal. It's going to affect him on the exit, but he keeps in front as we go up through the gears. 3rd into 4th now for Palmer, dabs the brakes and drops the 3rd on the Apex. A big car, the car off there. Oh, it's caused Gary an incident. Oh, Gary getting distracted. I think that was Sully Apex off there on the left in the Mercedes. That'll have affected Gary's time now. As you come up through Hamilton, make sure not to hit too much of that curb. We've seen a lot of drivers go off by hitting that curb tonight. Keeping it in 3rd in this BMW as he clips that curb a little bit, uses the rear wheel drive to keep the car turning. As we head down to Bentley Straight, Gary 131, the winner of last night's Class B race. Can he do anything to stop the championship hopes of Iceman, AMH, Jack, or Matahimovic, for example? I'm sure these guys find him a nuisance in a good way, that they're racing about with him, because they're thinking about the championship, and Gary's in here strutting his stuff, proving that he's a contender for the championship next season, possibly. Coming through Murray's now for the final time. Iceman on pole with a 154.1, 3/10 back to AMH. D Biggs in 3rd. Where does Gary end up? 6th for Gary, 3/10, 3 seconds, nearly 4 seconds off after that incident in Palmer. So he'll look to improve this time around. As here comes Rebby. No time for him there. I think he was the one that had the off in Palmer. KJ Argent, a big lock up into Montreal. That's going to affect his time. His first qualifying lap. Iceman the leader on track now. So currently Iceman leading 3/10 ahead of AMH. D Biggs in 3rd, 4/10 back. Jack 1.9 back in 4th from Matahimovic. Gary in 6th. Keeg 7th. Suddy Apex 8th. Starscream, Rebby and KJ Argent yet to set a time. So we've only got 11 drivers this time out. Looks like Big Boy Brazier's disconnected for the night. Min Adam also disconnected for the night. And Rocket disconnected for the night as well by the looks of it. So unfortunately those guys couldn't get back in time. And we look forward to seeing them out next week. So any improvement from Iceman, the current pole sitter? Yes, a 53.9 goes 6/10 clear of AMH. Here he comes. He goes on pole with a 53.5, 4/10 quicker. No improvement from Biggs that time. Can Jack in the Astra? I think he's the only one running the Astra in this class. What can he do? No improvement from him. Here comes Gary now for his first proper qualifying lap, providing no mistakes. Improves and goes 4th, 1.6 off the lead. Here comes Keegs. No improvement from him. So the Apex, Rebby, KJ Argent, no lap time again that time around, so he needs to hopefully put in a clean lap. Rebby, any time for him? No time for him either. Starscream, no time for the 3 of them, so these guys need to try get a clean lap together to try put themselves higher up the grid. Just looking in the chat here, D-Biggs for the win says NJ. Craig Leach aka Little Leach is saying Iceman. Andrew Taylor aka Monkey Boy, Iceman for the win, AMH for pole. Should be a great race up front like the last one if that's the case, Andrew. Sutty for 6th says NJ. We know them guys are good pals, they spend a lot of time testing together through the week. A good mixture of friendships and classes, testing with each other during the week. You get a lot of A and B drivers in the same lobbies in preparation for these races on Wednesday and Thursday nights. Gary will be up there too, says Monkey Boy. So here comes Iceman again. 2 minutes left. And an improvement, goes 3/10 off AMH. AMH will run wide there. That won't be an improvement by the looks of it. D-Biggs, no improvement. No improvement from AMH either. He's obviously had a moment, allowing D-Biggs ahead of him. Gary and Sutty now running together. Sutty in the AQI Mercedes AMG. Gary in the Cash in Ibec BMW, no improvement. Gary goes up to 3rd, 1 second off the leader now, and runs wide in Richie, so that'll be an invalidated lap this time round. Matahimovic back in 5th, no improvements yet from Jack or Suddy Apex either. Keeg still in 8th. Starscream, does he set a time? He does indeed, with a 2:05. Rebby also with a 2:01.4. KJ Argent still no time set, and it looks like this could be his last lap. So, oh, he's run wide there and he's lost it. That should be an invalidated lap for KJ Argent, which means he won't set a time and will be starting at the back of the grid. D-Biggs has slowed down there. He's obviously given up on his lap unless he can get around for another one. Matahimovic has parked it in the pits. Obviously doesn't feel he can improve. We've got 20 seconds left, which means Iceman will get another lap in. He'll have another shot after this at getting pole off AMH. No improvement, but he has one more shot. Can AMH make? He won't make it to the start finish line time. This will be his last lap. Is there any improvement? No improvement from him. D-Biggs, no improvement either. Gary has made it past Suddy Apex. Can he trouble? No improvement either. It looks like Iceman is gone to the pits too. He must have had a mistake up in Montreal. He's given up. We've got Suddy and Rebby now batting, or Starscream, apologies, and Rebby completing their last laps. KJ Argent goes 9th. A great lap from him now at the end to get him off the back of the grid. Rebby and Sutty both, or Rebby and Starscream both improve on their time, and that drops KJ Argent right back to the back again. So just a final roundup of qualifying for tonight. AMH takes pole from Iceman in second, Gary third, another great performance from him. D-Biggs in fourth, Matahimovic fifth, Jack in sixth with Starscream in seventh, Suddy Apex in eighth with Keegs ninth, Rebby 10th, and KJ Argent with only 9 lap valid in 11th place. 3/10 separates the front of the grid for this race. Could we be in for another big treat like the last race between AMH and Iceman? Gary will certainly be up there too, sniffing on their heels for any mistakes. Matahimovic could be another threat in 5th off the grid. As here we go for the final time tonight in the British Touring BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. 3 lights and it's green. AMH with a good start, and Gary's got a phenomenal start off the second row. He's ahead of Iceman. Has he cleared him? He's cleared Iceman already before he even hit Richie. So AMH leads. Gary's in second, Iceman third, D-Biggs in fourth with Matahimovic up the inside of him now. Oh, and Gary's taking the lead. I think he's pushed AMH wide there. He's let AMH and Iceman back through. It looks like he might have hit AMH there into Montreal. So it's AMH from Iceman in the lead. Gary, D-Biggs and Matahimovic behind, as Matahimovic goes up the inside of D-Biggs. So the Apex had made a great start. He was looking up the inside of D-Biggs as well. Unfortunately got on the grass there. Good start from Keegs as well. He's up to 6th. Jack has dropped down to 11, so there must have been in the first lap incident there for him in the Astra as he makes his way past Rebby for 10th. So on the Bentley straight, look at the slipstream that Iceman has got on AMH. He's going to the outside as they head into Brundle. Is he going to try to hold it all the way around side? They give each other room and Iceman's got it, but AMH is looking for the switchback. He's got up the inside. Good room given by both drivers there. That could have ended badly as Iceman's all over AMH's rear bumper now. What an opening first lap we've had to this touring car race. AMH defensive on the entry. This has allowed Gary right back up to them, and Gary's got a good run off the last corner now. Matahimovic is lurking in the background too. He's going to wait for a mistake, try get onto the back of this train. Iceman goes defensive early from Gary. Oh, and Gary's gone off. Gary's gone wide at Richie's. He's managed to hold it this time though, and that's going to allow Matahimovic back up to him. So we've got 4 for the lead now. D-Biggs making a move on Keegs there up the inside. Oh, Matahimovic has gone wide after the Montreal chicane. He's on the grass. But still bumper to bumper up the front between AMH and Iceman. AMH goes defense early. Iceman with the dummy goes up the inside into Agostini. Can AMH get the switchback? Doesn't look like it. A great dummy from Iceman there to take the lead of this race as they head into Hamilton. Oh, and Matahimovic has run off wide there out of Hamilton. He's dropping back. D-Biggs is catching up to him now. And they're still bumper to bumper. This time Iceman leads on the Bentley straight from AMH in second. Gary's going to be close in third now with the slipstream. No moves made yet. Manahimovic is right there again, closing back up to these guys. If they start the battle, I wouldn't rule them out of this race yet. There's still a long way to go. Don't forget, 20-minute race this one is instead of 15, so an extended race. AMH got a good run out of the corner, out of Murray's. Don't think he'd be close enough to Iceman for a move into Richie's. Good run though from AMH through that corner. He's going to challenge Iceman defensive very early as to head up to Montreal. This is going to allow Gary to get close as well. AMH looking for the switchback. Oh, this is breathtaking stuff from the two guys out front. Just giving each other enough room to stay on the track. Iceman very defensive early from AMH. AMH to the outside into Agostini. And it remains the same positions. This looks like it's going to be a battle to the end, right from the start, between these two guys. As we headed on to the Bentley Straight for the third time, Iceman leads from AMH second, Gary third, Manahimovic in fourth, from D Biggs in fifth. Keegs is sixth with Suddy Apex seventh. Jack is in eighth now, making his comeback drive in the Astra. Starscream ninth, Cage Argent 10th, and Revy back in 11th. Looks like some contact there that's pushed him back a bit. Still it's Iceman out front with AMH. Gary on their heels as well as they come through the bomb hole. Gary just starting to drop off their tail a little bit now. These two are finding a groove, especially in each other's slipstream now. They're pulling away from the third baseman as AMH looks to the inside into Richie's. Thinks better of it though, backs off. Perhaps it wasn't enough alongside Iceman, as Iceman's defensive very early now up to the Montreal hairpin. Trying to keep in the middle of the road to give himself the best exit. Again AMH looking for the switchback. Doesn't get it this time. Goes to the racing line. Iceman still defensive, having to go on the brakes very early there to make sure he makes the corner of Palmer. This is great driving from both drivers, very respectful of each other. This is what we like to see in Class A. Oh, dive up the inside from AMH into Agostini. He's now taking the lead and he'll have the inside into Hamilton. Oh, he just gives Iceman enough room and they're side by side through Hamilton. That is incredible as they head into Augie's now. A little moment from AMH, and this has allowed Gary to right back up onto their tail. It's a three-way battle for the lead now on lap 4 of this race as we head down the Bentley Straight. These three are clear of D Biggs in fourth, 5 seconds down the road. It's just too good to take our eyes off, ladies and gentlemen. In other news, Jack's up to 7 past Suddy Apex, and I think that's about it for changes at the moment. AMH is definitely in the driving seat out of Murray's each time. He gets a better run, especially with the slipstream. Will he challenge this time? Iceman defensive very early, puts the car in the right place, tries to get back to the middle of the circuit for a better line. Remember, you can't weave straight back over to the racing line, you can only move once. It's just like a mirror image of every lap. AMH looking for a switchback at the Montreal hairpin again, doesn't get it. And meanwhile, Gary 131 just in third. He knows the story. He's been in these positions way too many times. he'll be there to sniff at any opportunity that Iceman and AMH give him. Oh, a little slide there from Gary through Hamilton. Very easy to do in these rear-wheel drive BMWs. So it's a BMW 123 on lap 5. D-Biggs BMW 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even with Matt Himovic, 6 with Keegs. So much for banning the Renault Megane. This is more like a BMW Touring Car Championship with a dominating performance from the BMW drivers. Jack is the leading Astra in 7th, Suddy Apex 8th, Starscream in 9th, KJ Argent 10th, and Rebby in 11th. So Gary's dropped back just slightly now from the leaders again. They just have that tiny bit more pace than him, but if they start battling, hopefully he can catch up again. Still 10 minutes to go. It feels like we've been watching this race for an eternity, and we've still got 10 minutes left. It's going to be a great finale tonight. Lap 6 now into the Montreal hairpin. A little lock-up from AMH there doesn't seem to affect him too much, as these three begin to string out just ever so slightly now. Iceman with a little bit of breathing space for the first time tonight. And by a little bit of breathing space, 1.5 car lengths at most. That's how close things are in this Class A race. Gary's just dropped off now, a few mistakes. As we look back in the pack, Jack looking to make his move on Keegs now on his comeback drive after first lap incident. A lovely nice clean Astra. Oh, Keegs is very wide and Jack's very wide. That could be a slowdown penalty for both of them. Let's see what happens on the Bentley straight. Oh yeah, Keegs has slowed down. Looks like he tried to block Jack from getting past while doing a slowdown, so smart thinking from Keegs there. And Jack's going to be all over him down the Bentley straight. D-Biggs, as you can see from the timing screen, has a penalty with Suddy Apex and Starscream as well. Oh, big curb there from Suddy Apex. So a little bit of breathing space for Keegs there after that slowdown coming onto the Bentley straight. Iceman still in front, and guess who's on his tail? AMH. These two have been glued to each other's bumper for the last 2 races. Gary just dropped off ever so slightly, so it looks like it's going to be a 2-man battle for the victory here, unless something goes wrong. Gary is still there, and it's a race from him in 3rd. Victory in this class last night in the Class B race, and he's on track for a podium position here in the A class. So great driving from Gary all night. And it looks like Jack has got past Keegs into Agostini. So Jack up to 6 now from Keegs in 7th. Matahimovic, pretty quiet race for him in 5th. D-Biggs also just strung out ever so slightly. But it's still these two in the lead. Iceman and AMH feel a little bit strung out due to 3 cars missing off the grid. But still, we've got action-packed racing for you guys on the stream tonight, as AMH Racing looks in quorum to get a move done now in Murray's. Probably gonna, he's flashing the lights, letting Iceman know he's there.
He's got a good run now, and he'll use the slipstream up the start-finish straight to he's on the grass array. Oh, that was very close. Dipping to the inside there, almost coming in contact with the Armco on the pitch straight. He's going to have a good run now as Iceman goes defensive into Richie's. Keeps it in the middle of the road. AMH will look for the switch. Oh, just was a little bit too alongside, couldn't get the switch back done. Up to Agostini now, Iceman defensive again. Brilliant driving from Iceman, in fairness. He knows where to put the car in exactly there. Oh, he's gone wide there. Commentator's curse part 10 tonight. I'm better off not to talk, I don't think. As I was saying, Iceman putting the car in the right spot at the right time on the track and making it very difficult for AMH to find any room on that tarmac to get past the BMW. We're down to the last 5 minutes of this finale race here tonight in the THR Racing League, round 5 from Snetterton for Class A. And this potentially could be the closest finish we have tonight. It's been neck and neck since the very start, and it's going to be neck and neck by the looks of it till the very end of this race. Comment section very quiet. I'm sure everyone's in awe at this battle as much as I am. I'm nearly lost for words on what to say. It's just incredible driving, as now AMH is on the outside side by side on the start finish straight with Iceman. Holds it around the outside. Is he gonna... Whoa, just had to back out a little bit. He was gonna dip a wheel on the grass and could have sent him wide. And now Iceman can take a normal line through Montreal for the first time in this race. Just going back, it looks like Jack is still 6 with Stully Apex and 7 now ahead of Keegs. Must have been an incident there, because I've seen Keegs get ahead of Jack for 6, so must have had an off. He's got a big... he's missing his rear wing there, and he's got a huge bit of damage on the bumper. Oh, and KJR AMH has got ahead of Iceman as soon as we switch off it. Looks like he's made a move into Agostini. Oh, and Iceman's run wide. AMH's run wide. Oh, he spun, and they've hit each other. AMH has spun, kept it going on the... I don't believe it. Drifting through Augie's, and he's let Iceman back through. That's the right thing to do in that case. Just when I thought we'd missed the action, everyone, we get a little bit of it anyway. AMH looked to make the move into Agostini. Ran wide then, just trying to keep ahead of Iceman into Hamilton. Got on the grass, ended up corner cutting Augie's, nearly taking Iceman out of it and let him by anyway. And that's allowed Gary to get a little bit closer. If that continues to happen, we could be in for a three-way battle. AMH flashing the lights again, just letting Iceman know he's there. He wants this win. So Iceman's still in the lead. Oh, they're getting close now. AMH has gone right around the outside. He's going to look for a switchback. Oh, gets a little bit sideways, but it's bumper to bumper still in this race. We just can't take our eyes off it, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic driving from both drivers. Iceman, brilliant defence. AMH patiently waiting for a moment to attack. You can see there's huge mutual respect between these drivers. Spend a lot of their time battling at the front. Oh, Iceman defensive area, a little touch of bumpers there. And there's only a minute and a half left in this race. Time's running out for AMH. As he's alongside Iceman now down the Bentley straight. Has to give way. We'll look for a better run now out of the corner. And he's got alongside Iceman now into the bomb hole. They touch, they rub wheels. And AMH is through on the inside of the bomb hole into Coram. Any closer and the two of them are off there, but AMH now has the lead with only 50 seconds left on the clock. This will be the last lap of the race that they go on to now. What a finale this has been, ladies and gentlemen, to the racing tonight. AMH has finally found a way past Iceman, but it's not done yet. AMH defensive now into Montreal. Keeps the position from Iceman, and Gary's close to right up to the back of him now. This is not over yet. We seen it last night in the Clios in Class B. Gary will be sniffing now at any mistake either of these two make. A little late on the brakes for MH, allowed Iceman to close up, but he still has the lead. Through Hamilton for the final runway, and Gary spun it. That's unfortunate from Gary now. Oh, and Iceman has a slowdown, does he? It looks like Iceman has a slowdown. Gary spun it, still holds on to third. We've got Biggs in fourth. Matahimovic now has Jack all over the back of him for fifth and sixth. But Iceman now has a 1.8 second. That is a shame that has come to end like this after such a great race. Iceman running wide, got a slowdown. Gary following him and spinning up at Oggies. What a fantastic race that this has been. For it to end like that is a shame, but it's going to be this man, AMH. It's going to take the victory. Second win of the night for him after a victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup GB. AMH takes the victory in the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. Flash the lights, well done to you, AMH. Iceman comes home in second after a great defence for the whole race. Just couldn't hold on to it with that slowdown penalty, but a well deserved second. Gary's going to come home in third, just didn't have the pace to keep up with the lads in front, but he'll be happy with third after that spin on the last lap. D Biggs in fourth, a very quiet race from him. Well done to you, D Biggs. And now look at this, Jack up to battling Matahimovic for... Oh, hits the sausage curb, and he's... Oh, that's probably going to be the result. Matahimovic holds on to fifth from Jack. A great drive from Jack after an incident at the start. Suddy Apex is going to come home in seventh with Keegs in eighth. Ninth for Starscream. KJ Argent's going to come home in 10th. And Rebby will round out the grid in 11th. But it's this man who took the victory. I'm actually left speechless after that race. That was an incredible 15-minute battle we had between them two guys before the last minute or so. AMH takes the victory and the fastest lap of the race as well from Iceman in second. Gary rounds out the podium. Great job, Gary, tonight in the A class with D Biggs fourth. Matahimovic fifth. Bad start to the night, but he got it back running in fifth for this race, and a great result for him in the Porsche race as well. Jack rounds out the top six after a good comeback in that race. Sully Apex seventh, Keegs in eighth, Starscream in 9th, KJ Argent 10th, and Rebby in 11th, with Min Adam, the big boy Brazier, and Rocket missing from that race, unfortunately, but we look forward to seeing them next week. So once again, I'd just like to thank all of you on the stream for watching in, commenting, interacting with each other. It's been a pleasure to commentate for the first time for you guys. What a brilliant racing we had tonight again from the THR Racing League. A round 5 from Snetterton in Class A, followed up from brilliant racing from Class B and commentary from Matthew last night. It's been a great week for the league. Finally, I'd just like to thank the sponsors of each of the classes: the Register Ginetta Junior Championship, Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup, the Hard Compound Ginetta Super Cup, British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB, and the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. I hope you all enjoyed the coverage. I look forward to seeing a lot of you racing next Wednesday night, and also commentating on Thursday night, both rounds live from Silverstone International Circuit. Until then, see you all. Goodbye.